Hey, this is Jay, and I tried to build an entire SaaS using n8n, and it kind of broke my brain a little bit. So I'm going to go over the entire project, and we're going to walk through the whole thing and kind of talk about what's going on. So if you've been following the channel, I actually live streamed the entire process. I think almost the entire thing. There were maybe a couple seconds, well, a couple minutes where I went and fixed something off of screen after I was done streaming or whatever. But almost the entire thing has been live streamed over the last 30-some streams, I think, 33 streams here. If you want to watch the entire process, you can go do that. But I'm going to walk through it a little bit here. So basically, the entire thing generates this. So you input some data at the beginning. We start with a n8n submission form here. And when you submit that, it takes all the data, puts it into a spreadsheet, and then uses that data to then start filling out more data based on what we entered. So basically we enter the topic. So in this case, we're going to say introduction to Python. And then based on that and a few more details as far as like the audience, who you want to build, or where you want to build the platform for, who you want to target, that kind of thing. GPT, in this case, we're using GPT, will help to come up with some more details about what this course could look like. So it comes up with a course overview title, content, a full course description, and then it uses some of the other details as far as like if it should use subtitles or not. And with all of that data then, based on how many lessons you've selected, so you have the option to choose how many lessons you want, it will then expand that further to create 2 to 3 minute lectures based on that content. So it comes up with a audio script, which is basically what this is here, and then it can use that to then generate audio and create a lecture video eventually. So we've got the lesson details. This is what's going to be said as a 2-minute audio script. We create a bunch of folders to be able to house all the other assets to go with each lesson. And then eventually we create the content for the slides because we actually include visual aids so that we can have a video lecture that includes slides and audio. And so that's what is the result here. It goes through all these workflows and starts generating all these assets. So this happens over the course of 8 workflows, including the video functionality. So this gets the details for the course, fills out some details in the Google Sheet itself. Then we expand to create all the details about the lesson for each lesson. So we come up with the amount of lessons there are and then cycle through each lesson and come up with all the details about each one of those lessons. Then we use those details to then come up with the details on the slides. So we actually go and create Google presentations for each one of the lessons and then go through each one of those and expands those out to make sure that it has the right amount of slides and then fills in the content on the slides to match whatever is in the lecture. And then we loop through each presentation and print out those lecture slides into actual images because then we can use those as background for the audio. And then we then take the lesson text, run it through. In this case, we're just using GPT audio, TTS, so that it can generate the audio. And then this one piece that I'm missing here is that we actually generate documents. There is another part that creates the actual video, because once we've got the audio and the images, we can create a video. And so I actually use fmpeg to do that right now and just have it working locally. So unfortunately, this is the cloud version, and so this part doesn't actually run the video, but a local version would, because we need to do the execute command node, so we could run in a locally installed ffmpeg, and that's some stuff that I've actually talked about in the past. So I have a couple videos to talk about installing ffmpeg. I actually have a video starter kit that I am using to be able to run this system locally and generate the lecture video that goes along with the audio and the images that we create from the lectures. But then this last one ends up creating some extra documents to go along, some supplemental material. So we end up with a bunch of assets here in each one of these folders. So in this case, it automatically generated a lesson. And so we have the slides. So it took a Google presentations template and filled it out with details for that particular lesson. Then it turns those, like I said, into images. So we have our slides. So it took those slides and actually made them images that we can use in a video. Then it also created audio, which I don't have my audio set up here, but we have about a 3-minute audio file that's ready to play. So I skip to the end here, about 2 minutes, 43 seconds, where it reads through the entire script from this lesson. And then that audio can then be used in the background of a video. So then we have the actual video here. So you get a result that's like this, where it's now showing the slides with the audio being read at the same time. And we also create a version with subtitles. So if you select that option or not, it will burn in the audio or burn in the actual subtitles based on the content that it's being spoken. So that is the full workflow. And then I guess actually the last couple things are the worksheets. So it does also include a worksheet of just supplemental material to go with the lesson. So if you want to learn more, here's some extra stuff because the lecture is only 2 minutes long or 3 minutes long. So there's an extra worksheet here, and then additional resources as well. So if you wanted to expand even further and go find some other things to look for, you have a decently formatted document here to continue your lesson outside of the online course. So this generates just a lot of data based on just your initial input. And then finally, actually, this last one here is the quiz. So then there's some quiz questions about that particular lesson just to kind of wrap up the content, give you something to test on. So that is all of the assets that are generated, and it's really only generated from a really small prompt. So let's go ahead and I'll show it real quickly at the beginning here, but essentially it's just this form. So if we go ahead and start this up, there's a decent amount of questions here just to kind of give you an idea of what this lecture will actually end up looking like. But it's, the topic, the course topic, so the subject of the actual course. So in the example I was doing, it was Introduction to Python. Target audience could be someone like entrepreneurs, university students, software engineers. Course levels, so you know, beginner, intermediate, advanced, university, master's degree, PhD. And then number of lessons, so 2, 10, 40, whatever. Right now I'm just sticking with English. That's obviously what I'm speaking now, most comfortable with. Room for expansion later. Subtitles, yes or no, and then that's where I showed in that example file. If you generate subtitles, then you can go ahead and have them burned in. You can actually pick which subtitle files you want. So if you want VTT or SRT files, you can do that. And then you can target a platform. So and honestly, this part doesn't actually work yet. So this will be a feature for the future. It's kind of, I think, included in one of the initial prompts, but otherwise, this could be expanded to be a little bit more tailored to your specific platform if you wanted to create courses for a specific platform. And then here you can outline what the actual goals are. So what are we trying to learn in this lesson? The specific skills to be gained, if you wanted to be very specific about that. Teaching style, so you can try to give it a bit more of an idea of like how it should be presenting. And then the methodology. So this one doesn't work as well. I mean, project-based is really tough for AI to keep all of that in context. So we're going to stick more with like theory and concept focused or case study driven examples. And then finally, if you want specific things covered, you can include specific key topics, or you can exclude specific things. Like I don't want to talk about SEO or whatever. Finally, again, this is kind of to hopefully guide it to wrap it up as far as like end of lesson exercises or what else you want here. But that's basically it. So that's all you have to do is fill out this form. With that completion of the form, that will kick off this entire workflow, which are all running end to end. So this course generation ends after it creates the initial document. So really just kind of creates this first spreadsheet, and then it will go on to the next one. So go on to the course generation content. And so it'll go through this process and fill out these details, and then so on and so forth, and it will run through all of these. So running it just for 2 lessons was not too bad. I think it took maybe 10 minutes-ish, so pretty quick. But the goal really is to have it run for a lot longer, most likely. You probably want, whatever, 10 to 20 to 30, and probably want to be able to run this locally. You could run this in the cloud. It's really actually not too expensive to operate. The most expensive parts right now is that it does generate an image. So there is a call to, right now I'm just using Nano Banana from Open Router. So that costs about 4 cents, I think, to call. And the other part is the audio. So generating audio, the TTS does have, at least OpenAI has a restriction on the TTS model that I've been using. It can't be any more than, I think, 3 minutes. They have a maximum character count of about 4,096 characters. But that keeps it to about 2 minutes, and that costs about 4 cents to create that audio file. But as far as the rest of the GPT API calls go, they're very, very cheap, I think. And I don't even know if I hit 50 cents running this for, about a month, a few times a day on every stream. So the Dex part was extremely cheap. So as far as operating it, it's really pretty cheap. There will be ways to actually upgrade this to run it locally entirely. So that will be a plan eventually to be able to switch to something like that. But for now, just wanted to get a working concept, and this is a full system. So the point of this also is to kind of talk about the results. So it's a pretty robust system. It was really cool to see the results actually pop out here, be able to see all the assets created from a single, single form of like 15 things that you fill in. I even have a little worksheet here to be able to fill it in quickly, just because after a while testing became a bit of a pain. So I even have a little worksheet here for filling it out. This is actually a nice little JavaScript snippet that can be run to fill out that form really quickly, just because it can take a little while to fill that in after you've entered the information in it many times. Let me see if I can actually get this to rerun. So I've got a script here, so if I were to inspect this, I can come down to the console, paste this in, run this script, and this will fill in all of the answers with predefined values. So there's a nice, easy way to fill this in. But this is the only screen that it took to be able to fill in the details to end up with something like this, including audio, video, images, worksheets, presentations, everything. So a big system. So many lessons learned through this. I can't help myself, I guess. So I am actually a software engineer. I think I mentioned that, I think, a little while ago. So my full-time position was a software engineer for about 11 years professionally. I've been working on my own for the last couple. And so I couldn't help but, I guess, eventually turn this into an actual SaaS, expanded way beyond what it actually is supposed to be. So n8n is a great platform for automation. It is really handy for this kind of thing, where if you want to hook up multiple apps into a flow like this, it's great. But when you get into 7, 8 flows in a row, doing some really complicated stuff like this, it starts to crack a little bit. If you go back and watch some of the live streams, you can probably see it, a little bit of visible frustration. So my engineering brain was having a hard time with it, because I'm now having to turn all kinds of steps that I could actually just vibe code or just write some simple blocks of code to be able to do what I needed it to do. I am now having to break it down into really minor steps. And if you go through this a little bit, you can see, I think it was actually brought up a couple times when I was building, that I use a lot of these set edit field nodes in n8n. And that's because I was constantly having to manipulate JSON to be what I needed it to be for the next thing, or reshape the data to be able to work for other nodes and other operations. So yeah, you'll see there's a few more there, whether they're for reference or for just for like reshaping data. It happened a lot. This one in particular, learning how to split the flows and be able to sort through all the potential slide options within the Google Sheet, and then having to reshape the data to be able to put that all back together, then sort it, then call some APIs. So it was a big effort, and I definitely think I was starting to max out what n8n could do, even in the cloud. So this as I mentioned, because this entire thing will run in the cloud, except for the video production, unfortunately. Again, there are some services I think that will run ffmpeg in the cloud, but I haven't hooked them up yet. I will be looking into some solutions for that as well. Stay tuned on that. But this, yes, was a huge project, and as I said, I mean, it took 30-some streams, took about 2 months, I think about 80 hours or so of development to finally get this entire thing to work. So I guess kind of to wrap it up a little bit, I really do enjoy the n8n automation portion. It's super nice for just really quick things. If you want to just pull in data from one thing and move it to another, be able to automate certain processes. Like, and actually something like this is actually really handy, where this just loops over every slide in a presentation and turns it into an image and then uploads it to Google Drive. Like, this is like the most perfect example of an n8n automation, where it's just something very small in scope. And you can even get into things that are a little bit more complicated. And in this case, even, yeah, this would be another great example where all it does is go through a spreadsheet and it loops through each one of these. And it actually does a little bit of checking just to make sure that it fits. So it'll read the amount of characters in that script. And if it's too many characters, it'll try to parse it down. Otherwise, it will just run that script off to GPT, turn that script into audio, could be really, really handy. So those are really great examples of where to use n8n and automation. But when you start stringing a lot of automations together and it starts looking like this on multiple pages at the same time, it may start to make more sense to actually just build some software as opposed to trying to cram everything into workflows on an automation platform. So that's something I guess I just kept coming back to. Started to kind of reveal the nature of the work that I'd prefer to be doing, which is probably more software than automation. But doesn't mean that the automations are going to stop. I still think there is a lot of value in automation, especially just in terms of operating a business. So would love to continue the automation content. But I also just may have found that I would like to bring more software-related content into the channel as well, especially after building a huge process like this. At some point, I'd actually really love to turn this project into a SaaS, which would probably involve converting this into probably more AWS, Lambda, that kind of situation, getting into more of the back end, maybe some Supabase, Next.js, and all of that. So we'll probably be looking into that more in the future. But for now, just wanted to go over a really, really crazy project, building almost an entire SaaS product inside of n8n, pushing n8n to the limit in the cloud and locally. But very cool system. I don't have this one actually fully available yet for download, but I will. I will have most of it available for free in a link below in the Skool community. I also have potentially a really cool opportunity for Skool owners general. So if you are interested in that, let me know. But otherwise, this is pretty much just a big preview of what's coming. And yeah, just wanted to go over a really crazy project. So let me know what you think. I really do appreciate comments and love getting the input and feedback. This project actually came from a community member, so much appreciated. And I will always be looking for more input from you guys. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.